Good morning, Dr. Katie. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
Hey, listen, I was just looking at the calendar and I realized that Halloween is fast approaching, along with all of the other wonderful holidays that we, of course, enjoy at this time of year. And I see,
Yeah, he's really enjoying it, isn't he?
I see, yeah. So this is Ratatouille.
This is Ratatouille.
What's going on with Ratty with the costume?
Well, we call him Ratty for short. He's our wonderful hospital cat, and as you can see, he loves getting stuffed into costumes. In fact, I personally think that's the scariest part of Halloween for these guys, is getting stuffed into a ridiculous costume.
Yeah, I got an email that was filled with pictures of animals dressed in some of the funniest and most outrageous outfits you could possibly imagine.
Well, he's got a...
And he's not happy about it, is he? My goodness. Ratty with the attitude. And you're the one that saved his life.
I did, but
I can't believe that he would...
Cats are never grateful.
No.
Cats don't have a thank you or a sorry button.
If it hadn't been for you, you wouldn't be alive right now.
No, I know, but that's all right. He can be...
Boy, yeah, he's a little annoyed. And, he almost looks paralyzed.
Well, we call that costume paralysis. It's actually, quite handy when you're trying to film.
Yeah, except for when he suddenly then moves to try to bite you, right? Yes,
that's
exactly.
Cat behavior, so...
Well, listen, the reason I wanted to stop you and take some of your precious time was because I know that we're going into this holiday period where, there are a lot of concerns, of course, for pet owners. And so I wanted to ask you, what would be maybe like your top 3 or your top 5 concerns, not just for Halloween, but the whole holiday period, going all the way through New
Well,
Year's?
the holiday season is one of my favorites. I love the holidays. Everybody around here knows it. I put my Christmas tree up November 1st. I'm an absolute holiday nut. I love it.
I've been told that you can drive your husband crazy with the whole Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas thing.
Yes, we start decorating really early.
I see. Good for him.
On the other hand, there are some things that are concerns during the holidays. We want to share the holidays with all of our family and friends that we love, and of course that includes our little 4-footed friends that we adore. So there are some things that we do as pet owners need to be thinking about during this season to make sure it's safe and happy for everybody.
And what are those things, Dr. Katie?
Well, the number one problem that I see during the holidays actually is not necessarily what these guys are wearing, but what they're eating. And there's a lot of really scrumptious, wonderful nummies around the holidays, which is one of the reasons I love it. Halloween's a great example. There's bags of candy lying around. And candy is something that I'm sure the dentists don't agree with me, but it can be very yummy and fabulous around Halloween, but candy can be extremely toxic to your little friends. Okay. So you need to be really careful. We need to make sure we don't have candy lying around that they can eat. They can get sick from the wrappers. They can get sick from the chocolate, but not only chocolate, there's also a lot of problems with pancreatitis if they get some really high sugared types of candy.
I see.
Too. So
just kind of ODing on any kind of sugar is bad for probably anyone, but especially for our pets.
My 4-year-old 1 year vomited during Halloween.
So imagine what happened for the little guy, right?
For the little kids, or for now I love candy, so in moderation, but not even in moderation for your pets. They shouldn't get anything like that at all in the holidays.
And when you're talking about ingesting things, obviously one of the things that I know we saw last year was a Christmas ornament that got swallowed.
Yes.
So that's...
I've had patients that have swallowed light bulbs off of Christmas trees. I've had them eat tinsel. I've had them, 1 year there was a Labrador that, not my case, but it was a colleague of mine that ate an entire nativity scene, baby Jesus, the camels, everybody at Christmas time. So I
actually heard that really showed up very clear in the x-ray, right?
Yeah, you could see Jesus in the x-ray. It was pretty cool, actually.
Great,
it was really cool. And the dog ended up doing fine, but that was a very, very expensive surgery, and obviously, it's just better to keep those things away from you.
So just ingestion of a lot of things that maybe wouldn't be around other times of the year.
And even Thanksgiving, where there's not so many decorations and things like that. Even at Thanksgiving, you can have, Grandma comes over and she bakes a gigantic pumpkin pie, and then she just scrapes it into the bowl for Fluffy afterwards, and Fluffy gets pancreatitis and vomiting and diarrhea. So be really cautious and think about the platters of food that are lying around for your pet. Can your dog steal something off of the table? So you have to really think a little bit ahead with your little guys. The second thing that I really worry about for our little critters...
I know, Ratty, we're almost done. He's so annoyed. Goodness gracious, he's frustrated. I'm telling you, and some sort of little treat or something. All right, so what's the other thing?
The other thing I worry about is in the holidays, if your house is like mine, there's a lot of parties going on, and we love having people over, and we love having parties. My dogs and cats are, my dog is very social and she loves to be hanging out with people. My cat, not so much. The crowds make him very nervous. And the other problem is when you have a lot of people over, they tend to give things to your dog. Even if they are okay with the crowd, they can eat something that's not good for them and get sick. So in general, what I recommend if you're going to have a party, I do recommend having the cats and dogs put up. We usually put our pets in a very comfortable bedroom with the radio going on, somewhere real quiet for them. So there's not a chance that your kitty's going to slip out the door, your dog's going to slip out the door with people coming in and out, and it's not going to overwhelm them because a lot of strangers in their house, you know what's going on, but your pets don't, and it can be really disturbing.
Sure.
Especially on Halloween, if you have an animal that does not appreciate having their door knocked on repeatedly, or having the doorbell go off, it's really important in Halloween. Halloween night, I cannot stress enough, we don't recommend outside cats anyway, but if you have an outside cat, please keep your cat inside the weekend of Halloween. There's some really strange people out there, and cats in particular get targeted over Halloween, and we need to be really careful our little friends are inside and safe.
So let's go for a top 3 list here. So what's your third concern? I'm pushing you for one more.
Andy, top 2 is people coming in and out of your house, and
just all the stresses associated with that. Sure.
The third is something that you may not think about, which is when people surprise someone with an animal as a gift for Christmas. We do not recommend giving pets as gifts. They are not a pair of shoes that you can return if they don't fit. They're very, very special.
So it needs to be a really well thought decision.
Now, if mom and dad have been talking for 6 months about getting a puppy, and they've got everything all lined up, and they have a veterinarian, they're familiar with the breed, they're comfortable, that's one thing. But to just spontaneously surprise somebody,
decide that mom needs a pet.
We're at the mall and we see that snake, and we think it would be a great present for Uncle Joe. Or we want to surprise mom with something.
Mom's lonely, she's lost dad, that kind of thing. Right.
Now, what you could do is you could make a card that says, this card entitles you to one puppy. And then the person opens the card and you get to see their reaction and see if that's exactly what they wanted.
Sure.
And again, we highly recommend people adopt animals from rescue groups and also adopt animals from Animal Services, Humane Society, and local veterinarians. Don't forget, we have lots of animals here that are
well, of course, we have an Adopt a Pet page,
A lot of people forget their local veterinarians almost always have a few strays that
we're desperately trying to find a home for. Sure.
But even with the good intentions, don't get a hold of an animal and give it to somebody unless you know this is a good situation. Unfortunately, a lot of these gifts end up in shelters, and that's absolutely not the kind of Christmas we want to have.
No, there's already enough in shelters now as it is. Hey, well, listen, Dr. Katie, I appreciate your top 3 list of holiday concerns. Ratty, you did so good. You look so happy.
Yeah, he's thrilled.
Oh my goodness! Do not bite me.
No animals were injured in the filming of.
Bye, Ratty. Thank you, Dr. Katie.
He says, bye. Not so much.
Thank you, Katie.